Cancel the cold open. Welcome everybody to the TwistCast. Quinn is out on a trip today. He got fired from Home Depot, and as a result, he was able to go on a trip with his dad, which means he's gone. So now in place of Quinn this week is Tess.
Hello.
Say hello. Introduce yourself, Tess.
Hiya. So I'm Tess. I do a lot of things for Future Twist. I run their visuals. I am working on some stuff behind the scenes that I don't know if I should talk about yet. We probably should at some point during this episode.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah, that's a topic for later. So I design all their visuals for the YouTube videos. I do stuff with their live shows in relation to that. I hang around and mooch off of them. I'm moving to Seattle.
If you've seen us live, you know who Tess is. I mean, like, you know who Tess is if you've seen us live. She's done our visual work literally to the point we played that show in which I'm not going to say the name of, and literally, like, what was it, like 30 minutes before our set, you ran out to Best Buy and got a projector to make sure we had visuals. That was wild.
That was really fun.
You started at Afterglow, though, the music festival there, which we had visuals set up, but then it wasn't dark enough during our set, so we didn't use them. So this is Tess. She's joining today. She's also going to be moving to Seattle with us. If you guys have seen any of the Seattle vlogs, Tess is in a number of those. Not really the back, though. I'm trying to think. No, Quinn held the camera most of the time during the vlogs.
Yeah, so
you had a lot of vlog footage,
but
we just didn't use it because we forgot about it.
Yeah.
We've gone to a number of shows. One, I'm really excited when we go to Seattle, where we just learned that we're going to see Madian. I'm incredibly excited for that. I've wanted to see Madian for ever, I think, since 8th grade. Nice.
Thank
Fuck
you,
off, Java. I wanted to see Madian since 8th grade when I had, like, Launchpad project samples of his, and I really liked then. And now we're finally going to get to see him on his new tour. It's going to be great.
I'm so excited.
It's going to be our first Seattle show. We're looking more at Seattle stuff. It's looking very expensive. But I did the math, though, because of Seattle's minimum wage and because of the budget we're looking at. I think, like, if people are working a minimum wage job in Seattle, we need only like 60 hours a month, which is not bad at all. And we're leaving with savings, so we're kind of okay.
Yeah. Anything that we buy online is technically cheaper for us than it would be here because we're making more money. And so the number of hours that I have to work here to buy like a set of CDJs is less than the number of hours I have to work in Seattle. So technically, things bought online are cheaper.
Wait, why? Because you make more in Seattle. You make almost double in Seattle. So why would it be you have to work less in Boise?
No, I have to work less in Seattle.
Oh. I don't know if that's what you just said.
I thought that was.
In the podcast, you may, I don't know, I'll see it backwards. Maybe I just heard you backwards. But we now have it recorded, so we will know.
Heck yeah.
Are you going to stay here in Boise and continue running lights and stuff for the knit and make the trip that you were talking about?
That's a good question. So I might come down occasionally. Currently, I work at the knitting factory here. I am a lighting designer.
Who are some people you've run visuals for in the past, just for context?
Okay, so most of what I've done currently is openers for artists like 1780L. I earned visuals for your boy Sam.
You didn't run lights for...
lights. I keep saying visuals.
Well, no, okay, same thing, though. Basically the same thing. But then, did you run visuals for Carbon?
Yeah.
And then you like, for Carbon, not the openers for Carbon, but like...
Oh, you said visuals. I thought you said lights.
Well, visuals and lights. I'm kind of looping them into the same thing right now.
But no, I don't run visuals at the knit, ever.
Well, yeah, because the knit doesn't usually have visuals. Yeah. But when they do, they usually bring a guy, don't they? Yeah. Their own guy.
I think
but so who have you run lights for? What headliners or big names have you run lights for, I should say?
So I'm helping with Machine Gun Kelly when he comes through, which is going to be a 14-hour work day.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's going to be
What
gnarly.
Makes running lights such a long day?
So
seems like you just show up, and do you set things up, or
sometimes? Yeah. So in the case of a big tour like MGK, they have their own LD and their own lighting package.
What are you there
I need
for?
to be there so I can let them know where like all of the hookups are. I can get them set up with our distro, so that they have power. I make sure that they have all of our fixtures in their rig, and they know all the DMX addresses for those.
And then are you actively running that, or are you more just like supervising?
I might be running our house rig.
Right.
If for whatever reason they decide to just use their ground package and have me run that.
But they bring their own stuff as well.
For the most part, yeah. I'm just supervising and making sure they don't break our fixtures or something.
Right. And then with our Untapped shows, you then ran lights and visuals for... Did you run for Carbon?
Yes, I've run visuals for every artist that Untapped has brought to the Shredder.
Untapped as brought to the Shredder.
Yes.
Did we bring anyone else? Have Quinn and I played both Shredder shows?
Yeah, I think so. Carbon, Volpe.
Carbon and Volpe. That's it, right?
Yeah. I think so.
And you ran for Volpe?
Yeah.
I thought Mike ran for Volpe.
No, I was running it for both of them, and Mike was there for both of them. So we had a composite set up. So he and I were both doing it. I just left during a little bit of Volpe to like go grab food. We
brought you food.
I know, and so I went back
to get more food. Nice.
I ended up not getting food.
Have you ever gotten into something like does Signal still exist? Signal doesn't exist,
no
right?
Idea.
They closed, right? Boise's weird. Our music scene is weird. We have things that are here or not here or present and not present. The only thing you can consistently count on is Thump at this point.
Yeah.
Thump is like the only regular thing.
Run by the net, so it's gonna stay.
Right. Well, it's run by the net.
Oh.
I remember.
So, okay, can I give some tea on the last Thump? Yeah.
As you need, yes.
So, it was Thump featuring JCO, and apparently JCO is someone that wanted to bring for a long time, and through the entire thing, he was stroking this guy's ego so much, like. Every other sentence was like, oh my God, this is a real DJ. Thank you for coming out, JCO. Oh my God.
Wait, he's the guy who like, when we saw him at Pixel Terror, did you go to Pixel Terror with us?
I did, yeah.
When he was the guy who like in between every set came up and he was like, yo guys, welcome. I thought that was because he was the owner. If he's just a guy, he did that for JCO as well?
It was so much worse. It was
really?
So much worse. Because JCO ended up playing the after party as well. And I think I was like pretty drunk at that point.
Yeah.
And he was just like, dude, this is a real DJ.
This is a real DJ.
Stand up late.
What are we going to do in editing? I don't want to say his name. I'm not trying to call anybody out directly.
We should just like...
Did you run the visuals directly at Afterglow? I know you were feeling kind of sick at Afterglow, though.
Afterglow was fun. Yes, I ran visuals. I ran visuals for most of it. Mike did a little bit, and then Coma had his own visuals guy. Yeah, I was really sick. God.
What had gotten you so sick?
I don't know.
You just randomly felt terrible? Was it
the
like
last
elevation, medication, or?
I don't know. The last 2 times I think that I've gone somewhere, I've gotten really sick. For like no reason.
What was the other time?
There was Afterglow, and then there was the school trip.
The senior camp trip.
Yeah, I got super sick there too.
Speaking of school, we graduated.
Yeah, we did.
We are done. Finally done. It's weird because I'm currently at the time of recording this, we're uploading episode 3 right now. My power went out last night, so I had to re-render it this morning. But as of episode 3, we were still in school, and now we're like done.
Yeah.
It's nice. It's nice to finally be done. We're going to take off to Seattle. It's kind of weird, like, not going to college, because you tell everybody, you're like, dude, we're done. We never have to go to school again. And everyone's like, yeah, but college. And it's like, it's that weird disconnect where you're like, yeah, but fuck college, though.
And I tell people that I'm going to Seattle, and they're like, what school?
Right, and you're like, no school, I'm just kind of there.
I am a starving artist. What are you talking about?
I usually just skip and say like, oh, by September we're going to be in the University District of Seattle. And then people just assume it's like University of Seattle, but like really we're just moving into the area.
No.
I was looking at homes and places again yesterday. There's some apartments in there, there's some nice places, but also like half the listings right now are like people's basements, and they still want $2,000 a month to live in their basement.
God.
Fuck off. I hate that. Like, okay, we have our friend Jay who's offering us like to stay in their basement as we look for a permanent place. I don't want to spend a year in Seattle with someone living above us in the same home.
Yeah.
I'm not about that. So we're kind of in a temporary spot until we get jobs.
Oh, God.
So
do all of us have to have jobs?
I don't know, because we have... See, this is where, like, anybody listening is probably going to think, like, we're idiots, because this is the first time we're actually moving out, because we're all going to be 18. We're, like, discovering the real world for the first time. I don't know, because we all have co-signers, so they're going to get their money anyway. I have faith that we can bring in the money because we have savings, but, like, when you go to sign a lease, they're going to be like, do you have proof of income? They're going to want, like, a paycheck and things like that. I have no idea what that's going to mean for us. I do know that Joey from Afterglow, though, has offered us work for him, which I think may be similar to what you're doing now at the knit. I have no idea what that entails. He says we can talk more as we get closer to the date.
Yeah.
I was like, when we were at Afterglow, we were like building scaffolding. That was wild. We literally were like nailing canvas down to wood like an hour before the first person was supposed to go. The wind picked up and like we nearly sailed off the scaffolding. It was so much could have gone wrong. That was like the least professional any of that could have gone.
Like everybody who went there thought it was like super awesome and didn't even really know.
I'm really let down that there's no Afterglow 2.
Yeah.
I mean, like, originally we were staying in Boise until Afterglow 2 happened, and then we were going to leave after Afterglow 2, and then we learned that Afterglow 2 isn't going to be a thing, so now we're leaving earlier, but we're actually staying because you're getting your name officially changed.
Yes.
So that is fun. What is paperwork?
Yeah, so
don't you just go like to the government place, you're like, I want to change my name. They're like, okay, and then here's your name change. You're like,
no, it's a lot more complicated than that. So there are 3 or 4 forms with a lot of information. Bring that into the county clerk's office. I pay a filing fee, and then they set a court date that's like 8 weeks out because
they have to post it in the paper, right?
Yeah.
Yep,
so
you told us about this.
then I take it to the paper, and the paper publishes it for 4 weeks, so that anybody that, for whatever reason, has an objection can come to the hearing.
If anybody's got a bounty on you,
or you're filing for bankruptcy and you want to get out from under it.
Oh, right.
That's another reason that people will illegally change their names.
Right.
And so that gets done. I file all the paperwork from the newspaper, and then I go in for my court date. And if it's all nice and tidy and legal, the judge signs off on it, and it gets changed.
Then what about like legal documents like Social Security and things like that?
That's the fun part. So I have to make about 20 copies of the notice.
20 copies? Jesus.
Right now my list is at like 16, but like it's probably going to go up as I start to realize that there are other entities that need stuff. So it's a lot because it needs to go to Social Security, bank, insurance, job, school, not anymore.
Right.
School. I have a list. I could go through the list, but it's a lot of different places.
Do you have to check in with the knit and inform them of, even though you're like may or may not be there?
If I've already left, then maybe, because there's still some paperwork that they need
because W-2s and stuff like that. Yeah. If you were to stay and go down to the knit, would you be flying, or would this be a regular 8-hour drive to and from?
I probably wouldn't be driving. I'd take a Greyhound.
Is there a Greyhound that goes from there?
There are Greyhounds everywhere.
Speaking of, how are we gonna get to Seattle the first time? Because we're not gonna bring anything when we like.
I gotta bring some stuff.
What are you gonna bring?
All my visual stuff, so I can start getting like.
Well, okay, but I mean, like, when we first get out there, like the first like week that we're out there and we're living in someone's basement, we're not like moving in all our shit. We're just bringing like sleeping bags and stuff if we need it, and living somewhere. Like once we actually have a place nailed down, then do we come back and get all our stuff? Do people mail us our stuff?
I feel like we all have people with large trucks,
and they just bring us our stuff. It's like a service we don't have to pay for. Nice.
Yeah.
Do you buy a house? That seems like a huge investment for people who only live in place for a while. But if you rent a house, like, where do you stay when you're getting a job? That I don't get.
Well, some people legit will just buy a house outright, and then they'll just sell it later.
I don't see any interest in buying a house. I mean, though property does always grow in value, so technically it would. But I feel like only living a year in each place is not really.
If we did buy property, it should be in Boise, because Boise is really quickly growing, and like,
we're not buying property though.
I mean, yeah, but if we did,
Boise's growing, but Boise's like putting up a fight. Like all these people are like, stop moving here, and like the news is like, making jokes about it.
Yeah, well, it's the fastest growing city in the nation.
What? There's something. What's a thing that's happening that like everybody's here for? There's like something around like 15,000 people are visiting Boise. I don't know if it's that number. That sounds huge to me. But, like, there's a ton of people here right now.
This is the Basque capital of the world.
Well, I don't mean, like, moving here. There's, like, a bunch of people touring here. There's like, an event or something that's happening. I don't think it's Pride. I don't know what it is.
One of the best prides around, apparently.
Is it?
Yeah, it's like the 3rd out of the small towns.
It sounds, I mean, by the sounds, well, okay, but like San Francisco is probably like...
Apparently San Francisco Pride isn't that great. I had a friend who went down there and said that it wasn't all that great because it was just like corporate shills and weed. And that was it.
I guess because San Francisco itself is kind of like Pride always.
It's like... Yeah, they have like districts of gay people where the roads are painted in like pride flags and stuff. Like,
yeah, because that's San Francisco, and then as soon as there's like Pride Month, everyone's like cash grab.
Yeah, basically.
Speaking of the corporate thing, I wanted to kind of run this by in a way, like not really necessarily to play devil's advocate, but just to get your opinion on this. Companies want to show their support for LGBT, like obviously for profits. So then, what do you think is the right way that a company should show their support that doesn't seem profit driven? Because if a company still wants to show their support, like there should still be like a way for them to do it. Where do you draw the line between profit driven versus socially driven?
Okay, so 1, stop actually harming the queer community and then just for a month being like, we like queer people. Because a lot of the major corporations like will donate to like anti-LGBT charities and stuff, and there are a lot of things that they do that are like workplace discrimination, unwillingness to change their regulations to accept and protect queer people from harassment, and then as well the classical pride flag, which is the gay flag, is what all of the corporations will hold up, but that's just what everybody sees as being the queer flag, but it's not. It's the gay flag. It's been turned into a mainstream symbol of the cash grab. Part of it comes when they do not recognize other communities within the queer community as a whole. They're just like, gay people.
Right.
Wow.
Specifically homosexuals.
Specifically homosexual men. And that is the only type of queer people that exist. If I saw a corporation coming out with like a trans flag and an NB flag, I would be like, yo, these people are actually woke and they're paying attention to stuff.
That's true. I want to clip that though, specifically gay men. That's the only type of gay people that exist. And just clip that and post it somewhere. I don't know. What is actually Pride though here in Boise? I always see like pictures of it and people stuff like that, and I used to work down at the Saturday market and it would roll by on Saturdays, but like is it just like going through the streets and being in the community? Is there like an event that happens? What actually is it?
Both. This year it was a 2-day event, and so they have a stage, and there are a bunch of performances there from drag queens and bands and lots of stuff. And then day 2 this year, they have this giant flag every year, like the size of the Capitol steps. It's huge.
What flag is it though?
It's the mainstream gay flag. There's a rally and there's a bunch of speakers that talk about what it's like to be queer and various other things. They usually have a topic that everybody speaks on, whether it be empowerment or whether it be like self-actualization or like standing up for yourself or whatever it is. Right. Actually, one of my friends got to speak last year.
Speaking of roommates, Quinn has a girl that he's been talking about and a girl that's been talking about him that we are I've bounced the idea off of her simply because we need more people to pay the bills, because the more people to pay the bills, the easier Seattle's going to be. And also we could probably get a better place. Like we could get like a 2-bedroom or something like that. Relationships in general is going to be really weird when we move out because it's like we're going to be, at this point in time, the current plan is to get a 1-bedroom. And that's like not enough room to like have relationships in the home. And especially if we get roommates that are like that, then if something goes wrong, which within a year is probably going to happen, then things get real awkward. Now who's paying the bills? And now it's an expense.
No. Okay, then we have to have a code which is no dating roommates unless they're living somewhere else.
Then they wouldn't be a roommate.
Dang it.
Dang it, I thought I had it cranked. Damn. Speaking of Seattle, though, one of the things I'm excited for Seattle is the fact that there's like not a lot of dubstep. And I'm really happy about that because we've only ever seen shows that aren't dubstep are like Seven Lions, which still had some dubstep. Glitch Mob, which was no dubstep, which was beautiful. But other than that, all Boise ever gets
Anomaly
is dubstep.
Was so good.
Who's?
Anomaly, the piano player that opened the
for
first
Glitch Mob?
Opener for Glitch Mob. I really like that music.
Were you at Glitch Mob?
I was at Glitch Mob. I left partway
that's
through.
right. That's right. I totally forget about that. I always forget which shows you have and haven't gone to.
I've seen a lot of them, but not all of them.
You haven't seen... Who did you not go to? You didn't go to Pegboard Nerds with us, did you?
I have not gone to any of the Pegboard Nerds. I've not gone to any of the Zomboys.
So, what? You've definitely gone to a Zomboy with us.
I have never gone to a Zomboy show.
You've missed out on two of the, best shows that Boise gets. For dubstep, as much as all the dubstep we get, I am,
I wanted to see Zomboy.
I am hurt. Why haven't... I was out. You had 3 opportunities.
I was out. I was gone when Zomboy came through, or I had a show the other night.
Oh, no,
I couldn't quite remember.
You haven't had 3 opportunities. You had 2 opportunities.
Yeah. I was either out of town or I had, work the previous or next night or that night. I don't
That doesn't
really
stop
remember.
us. I've gone to raves
No, at the Knit, where it's a physical, I cannot physically be in 2 places at once.
But I mean, okay, but if you had work the next night.
Yeah, it wouldn't be an issue.
God, I can't believe you haven't seen, but you've seen Snails.
Yeah.
Snails. You didn't go to Ganja White Night.
I went to part of Ganja White Night. I saw Dirt Monkey with you, and I saw part of Ganja. I just had to leave early because
leaving early. Tess and leaving early.
It's because I didn't have a ride, and my parents were supportive of staying
Uber.
out late.
Uber.
I didn't have income at that time. No.
It's some. Yeah,
I did not have any card that I could use to sign up for Uber.
You were buying us you were buying us waters. You've been buying us water the whole time. Yeah, you can pay Uber in cash, I think. Can you?
Really?
Hold on. I'm Googling this.
Hey Google. Can you pay for Uber in cash?
Here's a summary from 1 Mile at a Time. We are thrilled to let you know that starting today, you will be able to pay for your Uber rides with cash.
So it has been an option.
It has. It has been an option.
Missing out. Ganja White Night was cool, but halfway through, we were just watching the movie. How much?
I wish I could have seen that.
It was cool. At some points, it was just a fully animated loop though, and it was maybe 45 seconds. After a while, you're okay, I've seen this. And then they're playing out, after 4 minutes, you're okay, I've seen this a number of times. It looks cool, but, you know what's going to happen next. And then, let's see. You said you started to say something about the Snails visuals.
Yeah.
I am against the Snails visuals, personally. They were cool, but why?
I can see why you would be against them because it feels impersonal in a lot of ways.
It does feel impersonal with the little sheet in front of him. There was no artist-audience connection.
Snails. So the way that his visuals worked, it was in my opinion, as someone who runs visuals semi-professionally, it was really cool. So he had LED wall behind him, and he had LED strips as a fabric mesh.
It was a net.
Yeah, hanging in front of him. So you could see the visuals behind and the ones in front, and it gave this three-dimensionality that I haven't seen before. And from a technical perspective, it was really cool because they would take pillars and put them on the front screen, and then they would have the background in the back.
Right.
And it was really neat to see how they used both of them. But yes, it does disconnect you from
it was
artist.
Cool, but I feel do that at a festival. Do that at Lost Lands when you play Lost Lands. Don't do that at the Rev, because we've seen Snails before and it was decently personal. And then when we saw him again, we're dude, this is so sick because we were more into Snails. We had heard more of his recent releases. I wanted the more personal connection. He was just behind his net the whole time.
Although that doesn't really work at a festival because it's too far away.
What do you mean?
You don't get the same effect. You would have
true.
to have a huge curtain, really, really far.
Yeah, so do that at the huge. Do it in a much grander scale.
That is really hard to have that much LED panel. It's LED.
No, it'd still be a net. It would still be a net. I feel it could be done. I feel
it could be done,
Snails
but it would
and
be
his popularity.
Cost prohibitive. People would talk about it, but at the end of the day, talk doesn't pay the bills.
It can,
but it doesn't.
Not really.
Not that much.
You're right. Speaking of festivals, have you seen the video of DJ Khaled getting booed for Yellow Claw? I just found that video again. It's from EDC 2017,
and
he's he showed up late. He fucked shit up, and then they were like trying to get him off, and Yellow Claw was like backspinning his tracks to get him off, and then he's like, yo, they're trying to cut my shit, and then Yellow Claw is like, yo, you have to get off, and he's like, but this is California, and then it plays California Love, and they backspin him out of it. He's like, yo, they're trying to cut my shit, everybody right now. He's like, DJ Khaled, and the whole crowd goes, Yellow Claw, yeah, like in protest of him. Everybody's trying to get him off. And then at one point he like leaves, he like tries again, and he's like, DJ Khaled, and they cut his mic, and it's like, oh, it's so funny. Anyone listening right now, go watch that video. It's hilarious, actually. Have you seen it?
I don't think I have.
Pause the. Well, like, don't pause it. Leave it recording. But like, oh my God, he's such a joke. What does he even do, DJ Khaled?
He suffers from success.
Jesus, dude, what a fucking. Oh my God. I hate DJ Khaled.
You have enough money, you could get a new face if you wanted to.
Dude, he has enough money, he could literally like start his own EDC and like book himself the whole time and not lose money. Fucking DJ Khaled, dude, what a joke. They're like trappy though, I think.
Oh, yeah,
so,
I stay away from trap.
I'm not a fan of trap personally. But Seattle, I'm excited for Seattle because Seattle will have not dubstep.
Dude, they have clubs for EDM.
Like real EDM.
They have like 6 clubs there that are just for EDM.
You should get into all of them. Run lights at all of them. I'm going to work with Joey and set up all the shit.
What I want to do, I want to go to every single one that's 18 plus for all ages.
Right.
And talk to the LDs and just be like, yo, I'm Tess, I'm an LD. Is there any chance that I could like intern for you?
That's true. Getting that internship, you just get in.
That's how I got hired last time.
Right. I mean, it's a good way to go. Couldn't you also go to 21 and up clubs on a working order?
If it's on a working order, yeah, but you as Future Twist have to hire me and then give me a working order.
No. I mean, they would give you the working order. The club would give you a working order, so you could go in.
Yeah, but I can't do it the first time.
What do you mean you can't do it the first time?
I can't get into it to talk to the people.
Oh, right. But if you knew the right person, though.
Like 3 of those clubs out of 6 or whatever, like most of them, their websites are broken.
Well, yeah, I believe that.
And I can't contact them.
So what's your plan? Go up while music is playing and you're like, hey, let me intern for you.
No, I just wait until the show's done.
Okay.
And then just talk to the LD. Oh. Or I just like creepily follow everyone from the club on Facebook.
True. Can Maddie get you any connections? For context, Maddie is the head LD at the Knit. Yeah. What does she actually do?
She's the lighting designer.
Is she the head? Did I say that? Okay, that was a complete guess.
Yeah, you're totally good.
But I got it though.
Yeah. Boise is probably a little weird in its Facebook use.
It's really weird, actually.
I dislike it intensely.
But you can't like promote events on Instagram. Like you can make posts about it, but you can't like have an actual event with a ticket link that's easy to access. So in that level, Facebook isn't really going away. I feel like once they're not making money on Facebook, they'll shut it down themselves and then just double down on WhatsApp and Instagram.
Unless they get broken up. Because there's talk right now to break up Facebook's merger of Instagram and WhatsApp.
Why?
Because it's almost a monopoly. There are a lot of reasons that it could be considered a monopoly. Same with Google's ownership of things like YouTube and all of its other services.
Right.
It's monopolizing the video streaming space in a lot of ways.
So what do they do, like, how do you break up a monopoly? Do you just say, like, you don't exist anymore? Because, like, you can't just kill a company.
Well, you break it up into its component parts. So in a lot of ways, almost every company out there, I'll just use Netflix as an example, has more than one part to it. Mm-hmm. So Netflix both provides other movie company producer whatever on their platform. They're a CDN. They host content, and they also create their own as like Studio Netflix or whatever it is.
Right.
And so that would be a place where it could get divided because they're taking over the space and they're hosting their own content on their own platform in a way that is anti-competitive. And that's really where the line gets drawn, is anti-competitive practices.
Isn't breaking them up, though, technically just making it, like, competitive against itself? Because, like, it's not really a competitor at that point.
I don't know a lot about monopoly law, But what I do know is that it's basically bad for the consumer and bad for competition when there are monopolies, because it's really easy to maintain a monopoly once you've got one, because everybody just goes to yours automatically.
Right.
And you could run promotion against companies or refuse to host their content.
But any company starting up selling a new product becomes a monopoly of itself if they're doing something. Like Apple was a monopoly of like computers at one point because they like invented the computer, or whoever invented the computer, I don't know, but like whoever invented the computer had a monopoly on computers at the time, and then other people followed suit. So you don't break them up then because everybody's going to them. So in the same light that other companies come up like that and start selling
So it's not just a random thing. There usually has to be some kind of lawsuit or filing that this company is a monopoly. It shouldn't be there. It goes through a bunch of processes, and if for whatever reason other companies are in the space and they're deemed to be competitors, then it gets thrown out or whatever. But if there aren't at that time, then it gets broken up. There's like a period of a few years where this is not a quick process. None of the legal stuff is quick.
So then what happens if like a company comes out with a new product, like Apple starts making computers and they start becoming successful in computers and computers starts taking off and no one else even bothers to try and compete with them? Like not necessarily because they're too big, but just like other people, like no one no one enters in the market like independently. Like, then are they like, you have a monopoly? And they're like, well, what the fuck? You had your opportunity. Like,
that can happen. It's fairly rare because anywhere that there's a niche, people will try and fill it because it's a business opportunity. But if that occurred, then they would split it into its component parts. So, for example, Apple right now makes a lot of their own SoCs. They make their own chips, basically. And they also, they produce phones, they produce computers. So it would be split into Apple phone, Apple computer, Apple chip maker, basically, is where those lines might be drawn.
If someone makes a MIDI keyboard and then other people aren't making a MIDI keyboard and they're like, we do MIDI keyboards, and then all of a sudden they have like the monopoly and then they're like, now we also do this thing, and just nobody bothers to do that because they have the best stuff and people aren't trying to compete with them, and then someone's like, you need to break your shit up. They're like, why am I getting punished?
I think there's a lot of stuff in place for that. I'm not a lawyer. I can't necessarily comment a lot on it. I don't know very much. I think in a lot of cases there are protections for companies and for consumers.
All I know is that in the wise words of Tess, it's copyrighted if you say it's copyrighted.
Oh my God.
We're working on some things. We can lead into announcing this right
Heck
now.
Yeah.
We were working on some things and we were like putting our name on it, and we were like, let's just add the copyright symbol just because. Is that illegal to just throw the copyright symbol in there? I think it is illegal. I would Google it, but I don't care enough right now. And then Tess was like, I think it's just copyrighted if we say it's copyrighted. In a way, it can deter people from it, but I guess it's not necessarily illegal because like people could just like use it, and you're like, no, we're copyrighted, and they're like, no, you're not. And you're like, shit. Now you can't sue them. The project that we are currently working on, that Tess has been running a lot of back end for us, and we're currently working on, is we got a website.
Yeah, boy.
Hooray! Our new website, wearefuturetwist.com. That is what it is, right?
It is,
I almost wanted to say
wearefuturetwist.com.
wearefuturetwist.com. Right now, we just kind of have like a gallery of stuff. We have like links to the podcast where you can download it. So if you're listening right now on YouTube or a platform, and you need to wait for Wi-Fi to listen, you can just go there, and we have direct downloads to every episode that is up so far. We also have links to music and things like that where you can get free downloads once we get that in place. That may or may not be in place by the time this is up. And then we also just have links to all of our socials and things like that. We don't know. What else do we put on the website? We have a contact page. You can email us.
Oh, yeah. At some point, we want to get the vlogs on there. That's kind of farther down the road, though.
Do people watch vlogs on any site other than YouTube, though? Guys, if you watch vlogs on not YouTube, tell us. We'll put our vlogs up there. I don't know. It's nice to have a one-stop shop, but I feel like we got to get the essentials there. But when it comes to merch, we have the money to get merch, but I don't want to just do like the black shirt, stamp the logo on it in white that
cool.
everybody does. I've wanted to do like the tie-dye thing for a while, but like I want to do it in a way where we can take the streaks, dye just the insides of the streaks, and have the rest of the shirt be a blank color, but I don't know that that's possible.
There is something that might be worth considering. So there's a group. Their strategy for merch is really interesting. It's stuff that people would want to buy and wear.
Right.
It's not just like repping your favorite artist. It's like an actually interesting design concept.
Right, of course.
It's got like a little like branding thing somewhere hidden in the design. But for the most part, it's just a really cool shirt. And it's a way to support somebody that you like and get something that you'll actually wear on a daily basis.
Right.
I mean, you're an exception to what I think is a rule. You oftentimes will wear shirts that are like merch of artists and stuff. You're wearing a Glitch Mob tee right now.
Right, yes.
But I think in general, most people would wear that to raves, and that's about it.
I don't know. I see a lot of people wearing merch. I mean, people wear band tees all the time. Quinn and I specifically, we're just like collecting merch to wear merch. Like we've pretty much decided that when we got to get new clothes, we're just going to buy merch like for artists because it looks cool. But I do agree that having stuff that looks cool is better because like everybody in Boise has the fucking black shirt, white logo stamped on it. Dr. Chubb's at least added red into his plus because that's his thing. People are like, it's expensive. I'm like, yeah, but it like everybody has that. I have, I think, 3 or 4 artist shirts that are literally just black shirt, white logo stamped on it. And it's like, I don't want to wear so much black anymore, you know? But I don't know how we could possibly make shirts that are like the minimal look that our logo gives off.
We can look at printing instead of tie-dyeing. Just like printing a tie-dyed look inside the streaks.
I feel like printing tie-dye is inauthentic. Inauthentic, whatever the word is.
I mean, I could also just build out some visuals.
What do you mean?
Like the same way that like we can just like use what I use for YouTube.
Take the visuals and just print them onto shirts?
Basically. I think people would like that. It looks cool.
Can we make it move, though? Can we make the shirts animated?
I mean, if they were audio reactive, or we just decided to go for like $300 shirts that had screens built into them. Yeah.
Yes, that's what we should do, and then sell them for. I bet somebody would buy that if you had a shirt.
There
that
would be like 5 people. No, there would actually probably be like 100 people that would buy that, and then we would be out.
And then we would have no money. I feel like in the future we will have shirts with like really lightweight screens on them that can display things, but like
that would be cool.
Right now they're like kind of tacky. Like Quinn and I have 2 rave shirts that his parents brought us home from Vegas. They have like the audio reactive thing and the little box for power on it, but like you can't wash it. It's really weird because you'd have to like dismantle all the electronics, and then even still there's still wires that are kept inside. You have to like hand wash a shirt.
I actually have some experience with this because back in like 7th and 8th grade, I performed in the talent show, and I had a suit that lit up, and it was electroluminescent tape that I just velcroed on so I could remove it and then wash the clothes and then re-velcro all the stuff.
Do you have any audio reactive shirts?
I have audio reactive stuff that I can put on shirts.
Well, I just mean like clothing itself that has like technology built into it. How do you wash it?
You either don't, or you just like remove all the stuff from it, and you just hope that you don't do anything bad.
Hope that it doesn't fuck up.
I mean,
and
like
then one
you can
wash, you're like,
things like
shit.
that as long as there's no power to them. You just have to make sure that they dry completely. Like I've washed circuit boards.
You're like, I've stuck CDJs in the washing machine. They're fine.
Okay, maybe not the washing machine, but like I've seen a video of somebody washing a set of CDJs.
I know, I've seen that video as well. I was like, it was the guy who took it to Burning Man, and they were all dusty.
I think so, yeah.
Of the same video?
Christian Jackson.
That's so. How does CDJs not get destroyed every time you take them to a festival?
They do. And then they get fixed.
Dude,
They're
see
built like tanks.
Right. Well, like they also like haven't really upgraded for a long time,
well,
or maybe they're just
still
there to be versatile because like there's still the CD reader at the bottom. Yeah. Does anybody still DJ with CDs? I know there's like the classic like DJ with vinyl only, and like clubs that will only let you come in with vinyl. But if there are clubs that are like vinyl or CDs.
Well, okay, so rap scene.
That's fair, but like then they just get a CD player. You don't need
Yeah, you're right.
CDJs to play backtrack.
Yeah.
Have they just not upgraded, or like is there really a
the
use
CDJ
for it?
Nexus. Okay.
How long has that model been
Pause
out
this
for?
Hey Google, when did the CDJ Nexus 2000s come out?
We're Googling again.
According to Wikipedia, the Pioneer CDJ 2000 Nexus was discontinued at the beginning of 2016.
Okay, so it's a 2016 model. So it's there as a legacy thing, I think. But they just haven't upgraded it in 2 years.
What do they need? It's also like a DVD player. I seem to remember when we were playing it after, you can slip DVDs in and like watch a DVD on your fucking...
That would be funny. On your $2,000 media player,
fucking CDJ on the little tiny screen. You're watching a full, like sitting in the car on a road trip, holding up this giant fucking CDJ in your lap, watching a movie on the damn thing.
I can't wait until Denon ones become club standard, because I think they're on their way there, and they're so much better than CDJs in my opinion.
I think the technology may be better, but I just think Pioneer CDJs have
such
like
a mind share now.
Right. It's just the classic design thing. It's like everybody just knows them as a thing. When you start up a club, you're like, do we get Denons or CD? And the other thing is everybody knows CDJs.
Yeah, although Denons are actually quite similar in a lot of ways.
But if you stick a DJ...
touch screens.
Huh?
They have touch screens.
So do CDJs.
No, they don't. Oh wait, yes they do.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
stupid.
Yes,
they do.
I was like, I think I've touched a CDJ before, and it has
totally
done
right.
something. I think
the CDJ Nexus 2000s, Mark II.
It's just when you're starting a club and a DJ goes up there and there's Denons and not CDJs, they're gonna be like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah,
and you're gonna run into trouble.
I didn't prep my tracks with Engine Prime. I used Record
Are they not
like
Rekordbox compatible?
I don't think so.
See, that's their biggest
they can
mistake.
Analyze any track on the fly.
Yeah, but if you're sitting there waiting for your track to analyze when you have to make a quick shift, is it okay? But like you plug your thing in and then it starts reading everything.
Yeah.
What if you plug your shit in and it starts reading?
You can play them without being analyzed. You just won't have cue points or BPM info.
See, that's the problem though, because if a DJ comes up, they're expecting CDJs. They plug in their thing. They start with a track that's towards the bottom of the list in whatever list.
It analyzes really fast. They have better processors than CDJs.
Right, but if they come up and they're like, all right, I need to do this, and you go 3 tracks quickly, and it doesn't happen, and they don't know what they're doing. They don't understand the equipment.
Okay, maybe.
I agree that the technology should shift, but like, that means Pioneer has a monopoly on the CDJ market.
They do, but they also super don't, because there are competitors in the space that are making waves, like Denon.
I just don't know how you would change the norm, because any DJ who comes in, house DJs, yes, festivals, but then every DJ on the lineup needs to know how to use a Denon.
I don't think so.
Why?
Because I think they're close enough to each other in a lot of ways that you can learn on the fly. But I think also a lot of DJs will know Denons very shortly, because they're coming up. If you don't know what we're talking about, these are Denon SC5000 series.
Right.
Players.
Just if you want to Google it and see what we're actually talking about. Well, okay. For me, if Untapped were to book us for another show, we go up on stage and there's Denons, I'm going to be like, fuck, because we plan all of our sets and we run all of our tracks through Rekordbox and we set all of our cue points.
Yeah. I mean, you do make a good point that it does become a little bit weird.
I think it would probably start as like, and that's like also definitely aimed at clubs. Because the other thing is, I was thinking like you could start it with house party DJs until like,
they're
and then
cheaper.
Work its way up. Right, it's more accessible.
CDJs,
right,
and they're better in a lot of ways.
I just don't see them taking over.
Maybe not yet, but I think Pioneer is losing its market share. They actually recently split up. Pioneer DJ was bought by another company.
And Pioneer
is just audio now.
Oh, right. Pioneer Audio versus Pioneer DJ.
Yeah, they've been
put into two
split.
Subsidiaries.
Mm-hmm.
If that's the right word. Subsidiaries?
It's not a subsidiary, because subsidiary is owned. They had a divestment? What? It's something.
I just wanted to know the word.
There's a little comparison. Slightly larger screen by the look of it. It's got a color display that shows artist info on the center of the jog. It's got performance pads like on a controller.
Right.
Which is really great for performing. and doing like rolls and slicing stuff.
See, when I look at this, I at least still see like I can make out where everything is except for the pads at the bottom. I don't know what the fuck that is. But other than that, I see all my essentials. I see all that, but I would need to see the mixer to see where like the
so
that looks weird. Putting the artist in the middle.
It's album artwork, but you can also set it to your logo.
Why?
Just as like a cool thing.
Why do you want that? You're on stage and people are like, what are DJs actually doing? You'd make a video and you're like, so when I'm on stage and I have the beat dropping, now I'm setting the Denons to have my DJ logo in the middle so I can always remember who I am.
It's very similar.
It is very similar.
It's got a touch strip instead of it's got a long touch strip on the side instead of below the screens.
I do not trust touch strips.
Okay.
The touch strip, it's just not accurate enough. I have fat fingers. I'm not about that personally. Okay. The rest of it, though,
it's got dedicated filter knobs.
Where do you even plug in the USB?
They put them in different places because up here they can get snapped off. They put them in the bottom underneath. That's something about Seattle. We can go into like a Guitar Center and they'll have CDJs just sitting out to play on.
Right. Well, they have that at the Guitar Center here.
No, they don't.
Maybe not CDJs, but they have decks here.
They have CDJs. I went to Portland and I just went into a Guitar Center and they had CDJs that you could play on.
DJing has gotten so much easier recently. Because like when Quinn and I go up and we play shows, it's not like hard. Like it doesn't take an impressive amount of skill. Yeah. When it gets difficult is when we load up multiple tracks at the same time and chop between them. But literally, if the most difficult thing we're doing as DJs is like turning the volume on and off on 4 different tracks and keeping track of it, like that seems, and you do that once, you're not even doing it the whole time. When you look at videos of old DJs, it always looks like they're doing more.
Yeah, so beat matching you had to do that by ear back in the day.
Wild to me.
I could do that for a period of time. I taught myself how to do that. I've just lost the skill because I haven't practiced because my controller broke.
I'm not saying it's
not impossible, but it's definitely hard.
It's just so much more effort they used to have to put into it between like vinyls and stuff like that and playing all this stuff and working the mixers. Like there's just so much more that they were doing. By now you have DJs like us who literally just plug in the thing, hit play, and remember to turn which knob up when. And it's like Ableton had its own little DJ pocket for a while where DJs were going up with launch pads to trigger songs with Ableton playing, and that already seems like more than DJs are doing with CDJs, like using a bunch of Ableton stuff. I'd like to get more into the Ableton stuff. It'd be cool, but like when you get booked for a show and they're like, we got CDJs, and it's like all right. I don't really have a choice.
Yeah. Well, remember, so at I think it was Volpe. You came in while I was playing on the CD.
Yes, that was Volpe.
I had not practiced in a long time, and I was doing just fine.
Right, yeah.
On those, but I got your controller back at my house, and I started practicing on it, and it was horrible. I couldn't get a transition to work.
But were you using...
It was easier on CDJs.
Were you using Rekordbox or Serato?
Serato.
I feel like that's just a difference of software, personally, and how things work.
I guess the hardware is easier to use in a lot of ways. It goes to show that it can be easier on CDJs, and when it's loud, people don't notice your screw-ups.
That's true. It seems weird to like think of EDM evolving because it's been the same for a long time. Like our genres are staying the same, but like
I think that's partially a Boise thing.
See, I do think it's a Boise thing as well, because Boise like refuses to evolve along anything other than what we've already been doing. Seattle is going to be very nice.
Yeah.
Boise's been a bit of a mess. Promoting has been enjoyable to an extent, but when you're just promoting more dubstep, it's like, I just want to see fucking Maddie in.
Yeah.
And so I'm happy we're gonna get to see that in October when we go to Seattle. Hopefully we will also be able to see Illenium. What's that thing with Illenium? It's like he has a show and then another show like a day or two later, a throwback set. What is that?
Yeah, so the first one I think is his new album EP thing,
right?
That he's releasing alongside this tour, and then the throwback set is like old music. It's just like he played a set at Lost Lands or something.
But it's 2 sets in the same city at the same venue You buy 2 tickets.
Yes.
So it's just literally which Millennium do you want to hear?
Yeah,
New Millennium or
old
Old Millennium?
Millennium.
But I guess that's only if you've been around for a while, because somebody like, I don't know, like Habstract.
And I think Seattle is one of the few places that he's actually doing that. He isn't doing that.
Right. I didn't see that anywhere. I was just looking at his dates, and I just saw Seattle twice, and with one throwback set. I'm like, that's weird. I've never seen that before.
Because he's been to that venue before in Seattle or something. That he's like
bringing
it back to
he knows the guys. Maybe he came from Seattle. Where's Millennium from? Shit. Somehow when we were looking up stuff about Millennium, the pause button was hit, and we just lost about half an hour worth of recording.
God,
I don't even know what we were talking about. 2 days ago, this sucks so hard. Okay. 2 days ago, we were going to DJ a party. This person had asked us to DJ a party for them, and we agreed. So then 3 days prior to that, Quinn calls me telling me he lost his job because one of his coworkers was late too many times, got fired for it, and threw a fit because she was like, I know all these other people who are late all the time. And they had looked through everybody's records and found that Quinn had one day too many, that he was late. He wasn't even late the day that this occurred. He got let go, and it sucked, and his manager was crying because he didn't want to have to let him go, so he got let go, and as a result, he was now open to go on a trip with his dad. So he goes on a trip with his dad. He calls me, tells me I'm doing the show alone. I don't really care. I go to Quinn's place the day of the show. I'm already kind of late because I suck at time management. I come up, and I'm getting all the speakers and everything. I'm getting all the cables. I'm getting the DJ deck, and I go to grab the laptop, and Quinn brought his fucking laptop with him on the trip, so now we're fucked. And I was super screwed, and I was like, shit, what the fuck are we gonna do? And I call Quinn. I'm like, you took the laptop. How did we not think of this? He's like, how did we not think of this? Shit. He's like, well, what are we going to do? And Quinn goes, just call Tess. And I go, okay. So we called Tess. Tess came through with her laptop. I DJ'd the party. We made $120. And as a result, we now have our first $1,000 in the LLC bank account. So that's nice. Something that Quinn and I have talked about before that we can at least get your opinion on. Who are some artists that are on your bucket list to see? Because actually, you don't go to a lot of shows.
I don't.
Like, there are a number of shows you turn down just because you don't feel like raving.
Yeah.
Like, so what are some artists that you, like, definitely would go see?
Virtual Riot. That's probably my... Virtual Riot playing, like, old stuff. Like, melodic dubstep. I want to see that.
Would you see Virtual Riot, like, on a current tour?
I would see Virtual Riot anytime.
That's like, true. That's true. Yeah,
he's such a good artist.
Of course. Who else?
I want to see Koan Sound.
I agree, actually. I think Koan Sound would be a lot of fun.
Their Polychrome EP is so good.
Yeah.
Netsky.
Netsky, however the fuck you say it.
Yeah.
I would also go see Netsky, I think. What about, like, Don Diablo?
Don Diablo is less of my thing, but I think any big room house would be fun. I would go see Ghastly.
Yes.
Ghastly would be an amazing show.
I would go see Ghastly as well, obviously.
I have a soft spot for Hardwell. I'm
really?
sorry.
Oof.
That was my start. That was how I got into EDM.
Was
Hardwell and Deadmau5 and Cash.
Can we cut this episode? Can we make this Chris Does Podcast alone? God.
I'm sorry.
I'd say the only...
Deadmau5. I would go see Deadmau5.
I would also go see... Well, of course you would see Deadmau5.
Cube tour.
If you got free tickets to a show... Because Quinn and I were talking, if we got free tickets to a show, what are some artists that, like... We weren't doing anything that night. We could go see. Who would we not go see? Even if we got free tickets and it was completely easy for us to go and see, and there wasn't shit going on. For you, yeah, DJ Khaled, yes. But, like, for you, that's, like, a lot of people because you have this opportunity. Quinn and I offer you tickets and you don't have things going on and you're like, I don't feel like raving, and you can just turn it down.
Yeah, but, like, specifically for the sort of person that I wouldn't see, very specifically, like, no, I will not see. I don't usually think about that. I probably wouldn't see any trap artists because that's just not my thing.
That's fair.
I will add one to the list of, like, people that I definitely want to see at some point if Cloud tours. I want to see Cloud.
Yeah, I would go to Cloud. I don't know Cloud very well, but I would still go because really I've heard at least a little bit of him. The person on my list who I wouldn't go see that Quinn and I talked about is Stonebank, personally, because I don't do hard dance. Like, Quinn would go, I'd give him my free ticket, Quinn. And he could go. He could go with anybody he wanted. I don't know. I like Stonebank. I have a handful of Stonebank songs. I think he makes good music. I think he's a good producer. Hardstyle is just not my.
I probably wouldn't go to see Old Getter. If Getter started playing...
You wouldn't go see Old Getter?
I would not. I don't like Old Getter music very much.
I would love to see Old Getter, but I'd also love to see New Getter.
I mean, yeah, I would go see New Getter in a heartbeat.
Well, of course. But like
Old Getter is not my style.
If he played
it's just
the rip and dip stuff. See, that's what I thought too. I think Getter was my first entrance into like the refined EDM taste, where you're like, anybody else listening who thinks this is shit was his rip and dip EP, because I heard like rip and dip in the cuts and stuff like that. I was like, this is EDM. I'm like, this is really the kind of music that's being put out. This sounds so weird. How is this music? Now I know every single one of those tracks by the first fucking second.
Fun. It's a little bit too avant-garde for me.
I wouldn't go see Marshmello.
I mean, yeah.
And I would ban you and Quinn from going and see. If Marshmello was coming and you got free tickets, I'd burn them before you got into the gate.
Yeah. I don't know if I would go to a show like Ultra, honestly.
You mean like the music festival?
The music festival Ultra. I don't know if I would go to something like that, just because it doesn't seem all that interesting to me. I want to go to Burning Man at some point. That's not really a music festival, but like it would be so cool.
Is Burning Man not a music festival?
No, Burning Man is a get together. It's really, really hard to describe. It kind of defies description in a lot of ways, but it's thought-provoking in a lot of very odd ways. It's a little bit anti-establishment, anarchical sort of thing.
Don't they have a rule that if you die, they're not responsible?
Yeah.
It's fucking Burning Man. You should have known what you were getting into.
Yeah, basically.
Whereas like EDC, EDC gets shit if people die.
Yeah, the only way you would die at somewhere like EDC would be trampled, probably.
I don't know, drug overdoses, I feel like happen
ODing.
plenty.
Yes, definitely. No, Burning Man is like, people go there to get away from the life that they currently live and be in nature and see the scale of the universe in a lot of ways, and take acid.
And take acid. If Burning Man was a giant trap lineup, would you still go to Burning Man?
Well, I mean, Burning Man has music that plays there, but it's because people bring their equipment. It's not sponsored by Burning Man. It's not initially a music festival.
I thought Burning Man was also
It's an art festival.
See, I love the concept of that, but in the desert, I want to go to a festival that's like in the forest. Like
Afterglow too?
No, not like I don't know, not in the woods, in like a forest, in like a rainforest, like in the Amazon.
That would okay. Oregon or Washington rainforest would be a great place for a festival if you
Washington
could find
has a
somewhere.
rainforest? Yes. What?
Yes.
Well, I
didn't
know
not like
this.
Rainforest, but it's like super temperate, and there's like moss everywhere and giant trees.
Oh, I want to go there now.
It's so good.
Can we go to Seattle?
So many climates.
Can we go to Seattle, please?
Like, let's just hop on a boat right now.
Can we just move there for a year, maybe?
A grounded boat in the middle of Idaho.
What? A boat? No. I just put that together. But then you'd also have to have at least half the proceeds go towards like environmental causes, because
that
like
would be really
as
good.
soon as you put people in the rainforest, you're damaging the shit out of that place.
Yeah. Think about that though. Like, you go to a music festival and it's like snow everywhere.
How would you camp?
Like a tent, but like
in the snow.
Or just a lodge.
An igloo.
Igloos are actually super warm. Have you ever been in an igloo?
Igloos scare me because I have claustrophobia. Comment down below if you're watching on YouTube. What's the best way to have a shelter in a music festival which takes place in the snow? Like a hut or something like that.
I think a yurt is what you're thinking
or
of.
Or maybe like a tent.
Like
a camping tent.
A wall tent that you can have a stove in.
Maybe like a lodge. You like build a lodge. You
build a lodge.
Hack down some fucking trees nearby. You just treat it like Burning Man. Tell people like if you die, it's not our responsibility.
That's really hard to do, and I think Burning Man is like slightly gray area of the law.
Right, but it's the same. It's just the opposite side of the same spectrum.
Everybody would have to sign a waiver. You have to get waivers at
the same way that at Burning Man they say it's the fucking desert. It's hot as shit. Bring water. If you die, it's not our fault. And you say you're like we're in a fucking tundra. Like we're raving on Antarctica. Bring a fucking coat, idiot. Like if you die, we're gonna eat you.
Like we're gonna eat your butt.
We're gonna eat you. We all need warmth.
I mean, I'd worry about people like, I want to go on a hike in my rain gear in sub-zero weather.
And then they die. And it's like, don't be an idiot. Don't do that. Yeah. I feel like that would be cool as fuck. That the afterglow, like, reverse instead of being in the summer.
Santa's Paradise.
Santa's Paradise. The
EDM music.
North Pole.
And also, everybody's phones would die.
That's true. So then we meet in the middle, and we do in the Washington rainforest, at a hot springs in the Washington rainforest.
I don't think that's...
Yes, it does exist. I promise.
Okay.
I don't know. It maybe exists, but you have it in there, and you book nice artists like Anevo and like Conroe and like
Laszlo. Why are these all O's?
I don't know.
All
Fuck
the
off with
nice
your O
artists are
names.
O's.
Thank you for listening to the Future Twisto podcast.
Yeah, that would be super chill.
That would be so serene.
Nobody's
like, there's no rail or nothing.
Yeah,
there's
it's
just
just
one
like
DJ
people
playing
moving
music. There's
around.
speakers. Everybody's floating in the hot springs. There's a place in Seattle. I don't know how we missed it because it would have been cool as fuck. But there's a place in Seattle. I think I'm meshing two memories together right now. There's one place I remember we sat down in seats and there was a little like voter thing on the side and they showed you a bunch of songs and it was like a concert amount of songs, but it was like 2 concert amounts. They put up the name of a track and played a preview. It was like a full-on, they made music videos out of lights and the visuals. It was fucking incredible. I don't know how to describe it. Then I also remember another one. We went to something similar and you basically, everyone just laid down on this like floor that was tilted sideways and you just laid down. I seem to remember that those were the same thing, but they definitely weren't because one of them I was watching in a chair, the other I was watching on the ground.
Oh, like a show at a planetarium.
I think that is literally what it was. Yes, yeah, so kind of things were like you look up all the visuals are in the sky and it's like the line
I've
visuals.
Seen that.
Yeah. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Yeah,
That would be cool as fuck if you like if you could integrate that into modern raves. That'd be cool as shit.
Yeah, that would be
Someone needs to sell us an event center so we can literally just like start doing stuff like this. What if you just took the Tacoma Dome, lowered the amount of people that could go in so that everybody had room to lay down, and all the visuals were up on the walls and stuff like that? You could stand up and watch the DJ, or you could look at all the visuals on the walls and like full immersive experience.
I would love that.
You guys, so cool. Someone band together with us. If you got the money, if you got the event center, and you just need shit like this to happen, give us a job, and in a year we'll move to your city and make shit happen. Thank you guys for listening. This was TwistCast number 4 featuring Tess. Do you have any final words, Tess?
I don't think so. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe.
Any of the visual stuff you guys see is Tess. Make sure to check out the new website, wearefuturetwist.com, completely built by Tess.
Commission me for anything. I will do anything for money.
Where can they reach you?
At Tessera Sky on basically every platform.
Of course, if you guys want, you can DM us on Instagram or you can email us and just include Tess in the email somewhere. If you want a commission, we'll be sure to connect you. Tess does great work. Thank you for being on the podcast and taking over who fucking took off for some reason, motherfucker. We're gonna call it that. Actually end the fucking podcast properly.